Talk about a perfect time for OpTic to finally get their first win over Atlanta. That's what they did in the Minnesota Rocker home series in that marquee matchup on Sunday. Today, I actually wanted to take you through OpTic's defensive rounds of that map 11 victory over Atlanta on standoff. So I really felt like while they were able to mix it up quite a bit on offense, they were really able to win this map against Atlanta because of the stances that they took on defense. And in a lot of those rounds, there were some really well-timed flanks that gave them numbers advantage. They did a great job of switching up position players where they had their ARs, where they had their SMGs. So in this one, we're going to go defensive round by defensive round and show you how their setup changed, and ultimately, as it gets down to that final round, why they were able to win that round 11. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's hop on in. You can see at the top scoreboard, FaZe is up 1-0. They won their first defense, but now OpTic is on D. And as we get right here, you're going to see that this is just timed perfectly for OpTic. So as we look at the mini map here, you can kind of see all of those green arrows, which is where OpTic is at. You can see the white arrows, which is the offensive strategy that Atlanta's trying to do. And biggest thing of note right here is that almost always, if you're on defense and you're Atlanta, you want to have, or any team, you want to have an AR this top building here so that you can watch any push and you can really control the middle of the map. And Atlanta doesn't have that right here. So the way that they're able to win this round, of course, who else? You can see this number 3 arrow right here. This is ENVOY, makes all the plays, makes all the runs in S&D. You always have to know his location when it comes to S&D if you're playing OpTic. And this is very simple. Atlanta has nobody watching the middle of the map. ENVOY is able to sneak through. He gets the kill on Celium from behind. And once you're up 4-3, especially on a map like standoff where you can easily trade out any potential kills, that's really all you need. So we're going to watch this run happen in just a moment. They're going to switch to him right here, and there's just nobody here. He gets through. I think Atlanta is just trying to be super aggressive this round. You could see that they had 2 SMGs and an AR in Arcides, push bottom brown, middle of the map, and it just wasn't able to work out. So if you're Atlanta, obviously ENVOY snuck through. He was able to get a kill on the flank, so you have to rotate over and get that kill to make it a 3v3. ENVOY clutches up again. He's still here. Arcides knows he has to push him. As he pushes him, Formal comes over from the A bomb site to try to help. And at that point, they're really just playing trades. ENVOY knows exactly where Simp is at. They're able to get the kill from behind, and that's the first round in the book. So as we talk about so often, so much of this comes down to the plays that ENVOY makes, and he won that round. He gave them the 4v3 advantage. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the second one. As we go ahead and start up this second defense, you're going to notice right off the rip here that things are a little bit different. So again, let's go ahead. Let's peek at the mini map. And before, they had 2 SMGs watching the right side of the map. They had 2 ARs watching the left side of the map over by A. And this one doesn't work out quite as well for them. So just again, the first defense, we saw 2 ARs sitting on this side of the map. We saw ENVOY push up towards B, where he was eventually able to make this run. And Scump was just watching the flank over here through gas. That was the first defensive setup. What you're seeing here is Dashy is here inside of Deli watching any push through B or potential plant at B. And everybody else, every single player on OpTic is hitting the flank over here through gas. So you can see that ENVOY is kind of leading the charge. They're going to go over here. They're going to try to get this top right building. They're going to try to hit a flank in this area. But unfortunately, sometimes, just like with any conventional sport, you can make the right call and counter what they're trying to do. And that's exactly what you see happening right here from Atlanta. They realize a lot of the time where they can win rounds if they're just the aggressor and they come out off of spawn. They have 3 people and the bomb pushing this A bomb site. Had OpTic had a couple there, they probably lose the team battle on that side of the map, but they're at least able to make it maybe a 2v2, maybe a 2v3. And get numbers in a more manageable situation. And at this point in time, they just don't have anybody slowing that down. So we'll watch how it ends up playing out. But you can see those 3 OpTic players are still hitting that right side flank super hard. bomb is going down. Arcides did see them. Obviously, we're on his point of view right here. He did see OpTic trying to cross over towards this right side of the map, and at this point there's 30 seconds left. You have to have 7.5 seconds to defuse, so you've only got so much time to get there. Scump does get a really big kill on Arcides on the flank, but it's too little too late, right? When you have to go and you have 22-ish seconds to trade out everybody, OpTic made a good effort at it. They were able to trade, but it comes down to Dashy versus Celium. Celium got that last kill. He realized that all I have to do is just check it with 7.5 seconds left. Dashy Chow's not able to win the gunfight. So I do like the fact in this scenario that OpTic switched it up. They didn't just do their plain old defense. Had that been a push over towards the middle of the map, they could have countered that really well with the defensive setup that they had going, but they just got countered. Sometimes it happens. You move on to the next round. All right, next defensive round is upon us. Let's go ahead. Let's hop into this. And again, little bit of a different start here. So if we look at the mini map, this is going to look very different from what we saw both those first two rounds. First one was more conventional, 2 ARs over towards A. Second one, they tried a flank-heavy push over towards gas, and now you're seeing them push mid-map. So they have their main AR informal set up over here, really just watching the push through mid or seeing if anybody pushes up towards A, but biggest thing that's happening right here is they took Envoy Scump, Dashy has an SMG here, and they pushed middle of the map. So they're taking Brown control, and this is going to work out really well for them. Now, if you're Atlanta, you would think that you have an appropriate setup here because they have Celium, who likes to play this back area. They have them sitting up top, and he's watching the push through mid. But you're going to see, again, if you haven't guessed already, you're going to see the push right here, the number 3 arrow. This is Envoy. I know that there's a lot kind of mixed in right there, but he's going to push through. He's going to be able to get this first kill on aBeZy to give them numbers, and he's able to get out with his life. So if you're Atlanta, you have to trade that out. You're looking at Celium to go ahead and trade that out. Here comes the push. If you want to beat Atlanta at S&D, you have to counter what aBeZy's doing on the map. He's the first blood king. There is nobody even close in the CDL that has the same first blood percentage that he does. And once you open up the map, like right here to Envoy, he pushes forward. He got another pick there on Arcides to put them in a 4v2. A Simp also went down during that point in time, and now it's a 1v4. So if you're Celium, yes, you want to try to get a pick or two because, again, this is a really tight S&D, and a lot of times these really close S&Ds can come down to whoever has the life advantage and who has defense on that round 11, and you saw right there Envoy got another kill. So Envoy gets a 3-piece right there, and again, it just looks very different from what the first 2 rounds did, and that's what you have to do, right? If you send 2 ARs and 2 SMGs and you just have a base setup every single round, it's not going to work out for you. But what we're seeing here is that if you're willing to switch it up and be aggressive and take some chances, it can work out heavily in your favor, and that's what you're seeing come out of OpTic in these first 3 defensive rounds. Skipping ahead to the next defense, this one is also going to look different. So as we go ahead and look what's happening here, this is another fast push from Atlanta going over towards the A side of the map. And even this defense from OpTic is different from what they had earlier. So we have seen a 2 AR, 2 SMG setup with 2 ARs being over towards A. But as you look at these 2 green arrows over here on the left-hand side of the map, you can see that that's number 4 and that's number 3. That is Scump and Envoy. So rather than have their ARs on that side of the map, they decide, you know what? I think Atlanta's going to heavy push A. Let's throw our SMGs on the A bomb site and try to win that team gun battle. You can see that Dashy's over here really just watching the push through gas in case somebody decides to flank. Formal's here as we've seen him a couple defensive rounds, watching the push through mid, watching over towards top Brown, and they're really just trying to get information, and they're sending their SMGs into A just to see if they can counter what Atlanta's trying to do here. So as we press play, Celium obviously gets sight right there on some people. They throw the nade. They know that Scump is in this corner. aBeZy rushes forward, and that's tough, right? Because when you have aBeZy pushing forward like that, he gets another kill on ENVOY. Formal tries to flank through mid. Atlanta had learned their lesson. They were able to get Arcity set up mid to watch the push through mid, and they were able to just counter exactly what OpTic was trying to do. So that's 2 defensive rounds now, where I do like the fact that OpTic is switching it up, but they had been countered nicely. They tried to hit the flank the second defensive round. It was countered by a push through A. Right there, you see aBeZy just get the initial 2 kills over towards A, and that's enough to give them the advantage they needed to take another offensive round. All right, as we go ahead and switch into the next defensive round, you can see top middle of the screen that offense, the last offensive round for OpTic was able to go their way. They have a 5-4 round advantage, so all they have to do is just clutch up and win this defensive round. You can see that they're set up now again. They're realizing what Atlanta's trying to do. You can see as this has developed, okay, Atlanta tried to push A, they tried to hit a flank, they tried to go like mid, bottom brown and get a B plant, and they realized with their last offensive round that we just need to bully out the A site. So Atlanta is realizing what they need to do. You can see all 3 of these Atlanta players with Bomb and aBeZy trying to push A again. But in that same regard, OpTic also knows what's coming. They have 3 players. Everybody except for Dashy is now over here towards A, pushing this A bomb site, trying to counter this inevitable push that's coming through the left side of the map from Atlanta. If you want to beat Atlanta, you have to make these plays. You can't sit back. If you sit back and you give them a plan at A, there's no way you're going to be able to win this matchup. So OpTic says, all right, we know what you're going to do. We have to counter it. We have to push fast over towards this A site. You're going to see the nades come in. The ARs are looking over. They know Scump is in this corner. Last defensive round, he was in this exact same spot. aBeZy gets the first blood again. The rest of the OpTic players elect to just back out, and now you have A site control, the push through mid. We saw Formal do that exact same thing their last defense, right? So I would have liked to have seen them switch it up a tiny bit. It was literally the same exact thing. Scump was in the corner. aBeZy gets that first blood. Formal tries to push mid. Last time it was Arcities that got that kill. This time it was Simp that realized that we just have to watch the pinch as they try to come through mid. But once you give up that A site, and if you don't get a trade, if they still have 4 players up, that is just a super tough gun battle to win. And with that, it takes us to round 11, everybody's favorite. So we're watching this round 11. OpTic did have the life advantage, so they are starting on defense, but there's going to be a clear play that they made in this setup that gave them the round win. So as we go ahead and just look at everybody's positioning, I'm a little bit shocked that Atlanta switched it up. This was multiple offenses in a row where Atlanta came off the spawn. They ran straight over towards A. aBeZy was able to give them the life advantage over towards A, and once they got bombed down, it was really tough to counter that. You can see that at this point in time, they have Simp over here going in towards bottom brown, and you can see that the rest of these Atlanta players are just trying to hit these mid-map areas. So it's a different move, but if I was them, I would have stuck to the previous 2 offenses that worked for me. You can see, again, this is going back to that very first initial setup where Formal and Dashy are over here watching any potential push over towards A. You can see that ENVOY is in a different situation. He is over here on B, and he's being a bit more aggressive like what we saw in that first defensive round, and Scump's in the corner just watching the flank, the push through gas. So this is a bit more typical of what you'll see from a setup. Let's go ahead. Let's see how it ends up working out for them. So Bomb is being a tad bit patient. ENVOY did see the cross there from aBeZy, but he didn't push for it, and they elect to just back on up, okay? We're going to play patient. Obviously, no, they're not pushing A. There's nobody pushing B either. As ENVOY throws that stun, he realizes that there's nobody in that mid-courtyard area, so they say, okay, you're going to play passive. I am also going to play passive. And at this point, Atlanta realizes that they can't really get in towards B. ENVOY is somewhere over there, even though he's not. They're going to try to rotate this bomb. So you can see all of those white arrows rotating over towards A. The problem is that it's just a tiny bit too late, and there is something that is open, and it's going to end up being the dagger in this round. So slowly but surely, OpTic backs off. Atlanta is able to get this initial plant down, but as they do, as I pause it right here, this is the hole in their setup. So for Atlanta, every single time that they had pushed this side of the map on offense, they sent 3 over towards A, and they had aBeZy or Cellium over here in this top back building watching the push through mid. We saw Formal try to hit this flank twice, and both times it didn't work out for him because they had it covered. Because this offensive round took so long, they don't have anybody watching the middle of the map, and we saw ENVOY mid-map. We saw him come back through Deli over towards Tank, and as Atlanta made that run up towards A, he went through mid, and as we hop on board with him, you can see right here exactly what's about to happen. aBeZy is trying to get the bomb down. ENVOY's able to get this kill, and once that happens, now there's a trade. Formal gets a kill, but at this point, it's a 3v2. The last 2 players for Atlanta, they have 1 on bomb. They have Simp mid-map, but even with Simp being mid-map, if he was able to get 1 more kill, so we'll watch this, Simp has an opportunity right here to get a kill on ENVOY, and if he's able to get this kill, then they would have a 2v2 if Simp's able to escape with his life, but he's not able to finish this kill. And that's big. Scump and Formal both turn around. They're able to make it a 3v1. aBeZy gets bombed down, and at this point, it's just super tough, right? If you're OpTic and you know bomb goes down, all you have to do is just pinch from both sides. Scump's shooting him from the front. Formal shooting him from the back. Scump ends up getting the final kill, and you can see their reactions right there at the bottom of the screen. They get the defuse, they get the round win, and ultimately they get the match win. So I wanted to take you through those defense and just see how it went from the very first defense and how it progressed strategy-wise to that round 11 defense where they were able to clutch up. If you're Atlanta and you just had an AR top mid and you're watching middle of the map, you're able to kill ENVOY as he tries to make that flank through mid, and then that round probably would have went your way. But give OpTic credit. They were able to react each and every round, make the right play, and in the end, ENVOY comes through and he gets it done. So with that, guys, thank you so much. If you're new around here, you enjoy these sort of breakdowns, make sure you go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you don't mind, as it really helps out the viewership on this channel and this video. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next upload.